Okay, today has not been the easiest day in the world. I sat down and broke down this bad boy syllable by syllable earlier. I was in my bag, pointing out all the metaphors, the hidden meanings, the different conversations happening between new M and old M. Was really proud of how it was going. Sometimes you just know when you're in your bag reacting to a song. Recorded for an hour and a half, sat down to edit this video, and I had no audio. No idea why. No inclinations that my microphone would be bad. It just died. Luckily, I had this one that I used to use a while ago, so if the audio is a little weird on this, it might be a little loud, a little quiet. I'm still trying to get it dialed in, but I don't want to miss out on my schedule because the internet doesn't sleep or eat, and apparently neither do I. I'm so hungry, but food can wait until after I break down habits again. So yeah, back to our regularly scheduled programming. We are breaking down track number 2 on the Death of Slim Shady. This is Habits with White Gold. Speaking of white gold, my homies over at Manscaped just launched a brand new Lawnmower 5.0 yesterday, and it is literally white gold. This is the sickest thing ever. And right now you can grab it for 20% off and free worldwide shipping if you use my code Crypt20, but I also follow you back on Instagram if you show me a proof of purchase. I know these bad boys are going to sell out. They are moving fast, and I would grab one before you can't. That white and gold combination is nasty. But okay, let's check this out. I was going to do this video yesterday, but so many people bombarded me with the theory that I needed to listen to the album in reverse, so I made a whole video on that and discussing my own theories and really diving deep into that. It's a great video. You should check that out. I've got a playlist of all the videos pertaining to the Death of Slim Shady that you can check out. You can get your fix by subscribing to this channel and looking at all of it. But okay, on to Habits. We're breaking down every single song on this album, so stick around. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Been waiting a long time for this shit.
Me too, Slim.
Long time no see. Thought you got rid of my ass, huh? Alright, here's what we're gonna do. You take this, or I put a bullet between your fucking eyes. Here, we'll split it. Half an Ativan, I'm driving straight out of van.
Love the skit to start off the song. Bleeds directly from the Renaissance, which was only Slim Shady talking, and now we've got Slim Shady holding Marshall hostage. He's force-feeding him this Ativan, this drug, breaking his sobriety, but you can hear Marshall in the background. He's gagged. He's got something over his mouth that's super muffled, and Slim saying, I've been waiting a long time for this one. Long time no see, huh? Been a long time since we heard Vintage Shady. But you can hear Marshall, if you listen closely, in the background saying, let me go, you sick fuck, you piece of shit. And then when Slim says, you take this or I'm gonna put a bullet between your eyes, Marshall, in one last effort of defiance, says, I don't wanna. Then Shady says, here, we'll split it. And now they're both taking Ativan, which is a name brand drug that is typically used to treat seizures and epilepsy, but it's also used in medical procedures to relieve anxiety. So my boy Slim is about to operate on Marshall. And if you really pay attention to this song specifically, but a lot throughout this entire album, there's a lot of information that you get from the ad-libs and like the doubles, the extra layers in the song, not just the actual verse, but the stuff in the background gives you a lot of information to the song, and I love that. This is definitely one of the better sounding albums that he's had in a long time. There's a lot of effort that was into this. So yeah, opening up with a skit was a great choice. Let's get into the verse here.
Half an Ativan, I'm driving straight out of van in a black sedan, fast as I can. In Pakistan, getting chased by Pakistans. You know how I roll, bitch. I'm an avalanche. It's my shit. I'm
bars immediately off the jump. 3 bars that we got to break down there. Forewarning, there's a lot of pausing in this video. I've reacted to the whole album uninterrupted if you want to check that out in that playlist. But these are breakdowns, okay? So we already talked about the Ativan, but that is a homophone because after that he says I'm driving straight at a van in Pakistan, getting chased by a pack of stands. So immediately got some homophones that we're saying, and he does this a lot throughout the album. Then the next line says, you know how I roll. I'm an avalanche. An avalanche, once it starts rolling, starts off small, gets bigger, bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and then it just destroys everything. So that's him saying that he destroys everything that he does when he's on the microphone. But also if he's getting chased by a pack of stands, it's a bunch of people that look just like him behind him. It's all one big avalanche.
Pakistan, getting chased by Pakistans. You know how I roll, bitch. I'm an avalanche. It's my shit, I'm gonna spit it how I wanna spit it. Whoever gets offended, suck a dick and fuck a critic. About to get retarded on this motherfucking shit. You can't say retarded. Shut up, midget. Shut up, midget. Trying to break the habit of saying any R words, but I'm still an addict, so it's getting harder. Been calling bitches hoes since a kindergartner. Since Jimmy Carter, now I'm kitty cornered, sitting in PC court with a shitty lawyer. Like damn,
you got an addiction, man.
God, I love that chorus so much. We'll talk about it more when we get to it. It's such a beautiful chorus. White Gold is awesome on this album, but I love the switch up to Shady right there. They're going back and forth throughout this entire album. They've already had the skit kind of in the beginning going back and forth where Slim says, this is my shit and I'm gonna rap how I want to rap, and whoever doesn't like it, fuck him, I don't care, this is my shit. Then Marshall says, I'm about to go retarded, and then you hear somebody in the background saying, you can't say retarded, and then he says, shut up, midget. So he's kind of regurgitating all these buzzwords that are offensive to a lot of people, which is the point of the song and a big point of the album too. And And we'll talk more about that once the chorus gets in because it really breaks it all down for you. But Marshall goes on to say that he's been doing this since he was in kindergarten. He's been doing it since Jimmy Carter was a president, and he was a president while Eminem was in kindergarten, so that lines up detail-wise. And he's an addict at doing all this stuff. He is addicted to saying this offensive stuff. So much so that it's gotten him into PC court with a very bad lawyer that can't defend him, and he feels like he's kitty-cornered. Even though the phrase is catty-cornered, I've never heard kitty-cornered before, but I think that kind of ties on to the phrase that he said earlier where he said he's been doing it since he was in kindergarten. So kitty, corner, kids, kitty. But PC court is obviously political correctness court for all the offensive stuff that he said. But also PC as in like computers, because that's where all the hecklers are, or online. Nobody really says shit in person. It's all on the computer. But let's dive on into this beautiful chorus right here, bro.
Diddy lawyer, like damn.
You got an addiction, man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Goddamn, I miss you, Slim. You got an addiction, man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Next time I'll be in your van.
Just a kid from Detroit.
So that chorus is just, like I said, it's beautiful, but a lot of great meanings behind it that really tie this song together. Addiction, obviously, as in the pills that were being taken at the beginning of the song, and Eminem notoriously had the pill addiction his entire career. Been sober for like 13, 14 years now, but Slim Shady was the one taking all those drugs. And the chorus says, I know you can't get rid of me forever, I'm your prescription, and you can't survive without that prescription. And though it's been 13 years since he's taken drugs, and since he's had the Slim Shady aura, can't be gone forever, he's relapsing now. You're addicted to saying all this offensive stuff, but you're addicted to Slim Shady. You're addicted to the idea of Slim Shady. Great chorus.
Yeah, was just a kid from Detroit who knew how to destroy the booth and had a point to prove. And I'm missing.
Love the rhyme schemes.
Youth sentences. I'm penning are just a toy with you, which is a joy to do. Slim is just a lyricist, here to voice his true sentiments. Got the women pissed and it seems like men are just off growing a huge clitoris. Pussies, yeah, probably annoyed a few feminists.
Oh my god, dude, the penmanship is crazy, bro. He literally puts this shit together like a puzzle. I can just see it on paper right now. I can't wait for a highlighted rhyme scheme of this song because this verse specifically is crazy. Starts it off by saying he was just a kid in Detroit that had nothing but something to prove, and somebody that has nothing to lose is literally the most dangerous person in the world. He was letting people know that. Goes on to say that he's still poisoning the youth and he's just writing all these lines to toy with people and have fun with them. But that Slim is the one who's the lyricist that speaks all the dark stuff from his head. Eminem writes fun punchlines, Slim writes the dark punchlines. Slim is the one that writes all the stuff that gets the men growing a clitoris. They're pussies. Nice little double entendre there. But again, pay attention to these rhyme schemes because he continues it on throughout this verse too. Those inner rhymes and the cadence of the way that he's saying it is beautiful, and then ends it all on a different cadence and a different rhyme. Very elevated stuff. And like I said, I know that highlighted rhyme scheme is going to be wild.
Pussies, yeah, probably annoyed a few feminists. I reminisce on them blowing a fuse over my points of view. Still I'm devoid of two shits to give. My thinking is primitive, but when it comes to giving it to anybody, boy is Bruce generous. And about as much of a boy as Bruce generous. Cause I'm not a boy, I'm a man, bitch. Man, bitch. My speech is free as his choice to choose genderless. This shit is like opioid abuse, isn't it? Yep.
There's a great point right there. You hear Slim's voice come in right there at the very end saying, this shit is like opioid abuse, isn't it? And he's referencing the verse that Marshall just spit. He's offending all these people, dissing Bruce Jenner and transgenderism. And after he gets done doing all this stuff, Slim's like, that was like opioid abuse. That was like taking the drugs, and you miss that, don't you? And you even hear in the ad-lib Marshall saying, yep, like he is acknowledging that he misses this stuff and that he is addicted to this stuff. Like I said earlier, those ad-libs really tell a lot to the story. And he starts off by saying he's reminiscing on all the times that he used to do this and make people mad and blow a fuse over the stuff that he says. And then he proceeds to say some new offensive stuff because he misses that feeling. But this Bruce Jenner bar is crazy. Because for one, we have the homophone with Bruce generous and Bruce Jenner is. He says when it comes to giving it to anybody, boy is Bruce generous. Eminem's middle name is Bruce, Marshall Bruce Mathers II. And then goes on to say, I'm about as much as a boy as Bruce Jenner is, because Bruce Jenner is now Caitlyn Jenner, a transgender woman. So clearly, not a boy. Then the next line says, I'm a man, bitch, with the comma right there, but man, bitch is the offensive way of saying transgender woman. And then ends that by saying, my speech is as free as his choice to choose what gender he is. And the ad-lib says, man, in the background. Just tons of offensive stuff. Marshall is on the drugs that Slim Shady has put into his body, rapping like Slim Shady, and Slim confirms this by saying, that's like opioid abuse, isn't it? Layers upon layers, bro.
Who's genderous? This shit is like opioid abuse, isn't it? Yep.
You got an addiction, man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Goddamn, I miss you, Slim. You got an addiction,
so good, bro.
Man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Next time I'll be in your veins.
There's times when I lay down to sleep, I argue with myself. Am I the only one who thinks it's way too. I need help. Just a little bit, know a lot of it. I really, really gotta quit. Something's wrong with me. My God, old habits die hard.
Look at you. What's the matter
Love
with you?
hearing the moans and like the hums from White Gold in the background right there. But we got this bridge right here that is sung by Slim Shady and Marshall, and it's basically him talking to himself about the habits that are going on and that he needs to stop. Does he really need to stop? Maybe he needs a little bit of help. No, I need a lot of bit of help. And even says he lays down at night and argues with himself and has this same conversation over and over again. And then that last line where he says, old habits die hard. The habit obviously being Slim Shady and the offensive stuff. And it's a very common phrase for basically saying that habits that have been around for so long are the hardest ones to kick. It's very hard to make them die, so they die hard. And this habit has been around since kindergarten, since Jimmy Carter, like he said earlier in the song.
Habits die hard.
Look at you. What's the matter with you people? You're sad.
The South Park skit.
Mean. Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus. You're all pricks.
Mom shaming, dad shaming, yeah, fat shaming, mansplaining, blah, crybabies, attack shady, when mad cause they can't tame me. They come to censors.
We got Slim's voice right there at the end of that one. Again, I love that they're just rapping back and forth and you can hear the drugs like taking over. So we had the South Park skit right there talking about the world's not one big liberal arts college campus. I went to a liberal arts college and I can tell you there's a lot of protection there. I remember the day that Donald Trump got elected, they canceled all classes for fear of everyone's safety. That happened. And that's what this little interjection is about from South Park, because that episode is talking about safe spaces and how stupid they are and that it's like made up. In the real world, somebody's going to say something that makes you mad and you're just going to get offended and that's it. Nobody's going to protect you from it. But this also comes back into play later on with South Park, so just keep that in mind. South Park is such a great show. Goes on to diss all these people talking about mom shaming, dad shaming, fat shaming, like all these different made up terms, and saying all the people that follow those terms and created those terms are crybabies and mad because they can't tame Shady, and so they're trying to cancel him because of that. But he's also calling himself mad right here, and that's why they can't tame him. You can't tame a mad man.
When mad cause they can't tame me. They come to censors like the Avengers, and they assemble like Prince and intern. A word like ginger into the N-word. All these pronouns I can't remember. They or them, theirs, his or him, hers.
Back
Into
and
them
forth.
girls who bought tits to get attention, then get hit on by ugly men who are not in your league, so you pretend you're a victim and meet to them. Outrage, how fake. Nowadays
So again, dude, just extra layers like that. The outrage, that part was just so nice to listen to. So yeah, a lot of bars to cover right here. Starts off by saying, here comes all the people trying to censor me again. Assembling like the Avengers, because Avengers assemble from Captain America. But also says assemble like Prince. You break up a symbol into a symbol. And this is even referencing Without Me, because he rapped about that way back then when he said when Prince turned his name into a symbol. Because Prince literally turned his name into a figurative symbol. But he also plays the sound of a hi-hat symbol just like he did in the Without Me song. So we got a triple entendre with a symbol right there. And another callback to Without Me, proving that Shady is in his veins right now, just like the chorus says. Says the same people talking about mom shaming and fat shaming and all that stuff turn words like ginger into the N-word. Now, ginger is an anagram for the N-word. You mix up the letters and it can spell the hard R N-word. But ginger is such a non-offensive term, but they're trying to make it as worse as the N-word. That's how offended they are, and that's how much of a safe space that they want. So really going ham at the people that think like that. And doubles down even more when he talks about all the pronouns. Is like, how am I supposed to remember all these different pronouns? And then disses the women. They get the plastic surgery on their tits to make them look better and to get noticed, but then they get upset when somebody not as attractive as they're wanting hits on them, then try to Me Too them. They try to pretend that they're victims just because the outcome that they wanted isn't what's happening. So really just dissing anybody that he can think of right now.
you pretend you're a victim and meet to them. Outrage, how fake. Nowadays some gals, they just clout chase. Look at me with sour grapes and your brow raised. Bitch, you ain't about head, about face. Little white, middle age, upper middle class with a glass of wine and your cigarette. Bitch, get off the internet. You ain't even fed your kids dinner yet. Parental discretion, mental aggression.
Oh, hold on, we're getting into the fast part right here. So I really like this line where he says, look at me with sour grapes. And that's a common phrase for looking at somebody pretty much disgusted. It's the same face you make when you eat something sour, like your eyebrows raised and you're like, ugh. That's how people are looking at him. But continues on to talk about women drinking wine and smoking cigarettes and bitching about him on the internet that haven't even fed their kids yet, because them hating on Marshall and Shady is more important than taking care of their own family, but also ties into the sour grapes because wine is made from sour grapes, but also wine is in cry about Shady. Some double entendres out the wazoo. Got the line, if you're not about head, then about face. In the military, when you about face, it means to turn around. So if you're not gonna give me head, then turn around. I don't want to deal with you. But head, face, they all work together. Little metaphors there. There's just stuff everywhere in this song, man. But okay, on to the fast part. This one's a little bit harder to break down here.
It's dinner yet. Parental discretion, mental aggression. My head's a Smith & Wesson. You're messing with a lethal weapon like an evil stepdad. I got it infrared like a ginger stepkid who pissed the bed. I do this shit.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about those first 4 bars right there. He said, my head is a Smith & Wesson, which is a brand of gun, and that you're messing with the lethal weapon. So saying all these people trying to cancel him is messing with his head, the lethal weapon, the Smith & Wesson. Goes on to say, like an evil stepdad, I got an infrared, like the ginger stepkid who pissed the bed. So brings up the term ginger again, just really trying to go ham on this offensive stuff. But infrared is in an infrared scope to put on top of the gun, the Smith & Wesson, his lethal weapon, his brain. But also the word infrared can be heard as infrared because he talks about the evil stepdad who has an infrared, the ginger stepkid who pissed the bed. Somebody who's ginger has red hair, so his stepdad has an infrared. Those are a lot harder to hear because it's faster and your brain's kind of scattered listening for the song. But he's got some punchlines in there.
Red like a ginger stepkid who pissed the bed. I do this shit in jest and it's just a mess and that put your head. And if men wanna wear lipstick and women's underwear, who cares? The shit is their business, not bear witness. Beware, bitches to Blair, which on you scared bitches. I'm surreptitious and square business. Just attack my therapist with a pair of scissors like Merry Christmas. Dressed as a Harry Krishna terrorist with the hair trigger. But with these buttons, I'm always pushing.
Now we got Slim Shady rapping right there, bro. This song is so good. So I'm pointing my finger up right there because he said I attacked my therapist with a pair of scissors like Merry Christmas. This references Edward Scissorhands, which he referenced by name in the first track, and Christmas is in that movie a lot. And this ties together even further because he says he has a hair trigger. You cut scissors with hair, and a hair trigger is a trigger that is way easier to pull, makes it easier to shoot. Earlier in the fast part, he says, I don't really care if you want to wear makeup and dress up as a man. That's your business, but if you're gonna do that, then you gotta listen to me rap about it. So Marshall is fully high on this drug of Slim Shady right now. And now Slim Shady's about to rap on this shit.
Dressed as a Harry Krishna terrorist with the hair trigger. But with these buttons, I'm always pushing. Pain, I'm always inflicting. Protesters outside the Shady office is livid. It'll make you think that you had the game unlocked till they pick it. Only wait for me to explain it. Yes, I'm conflicted.
What a bar right there, bro. You can hear the protesters in the background. Again, the ad-libs, the extra stuff, adding more layers to the song. Said you'll think you have the game on lock until they pick it. Picket as in rioting, the protesters are picketing, but also picket as in the lock. The game that you thought you had unlocked, they pick it. And this flow is just so nice and smooth. It's some of my favorite flows, man. I wish he would rap like this all the time.
It'll make you think that you had the game unlocked till they pick it. Only wait for me to explain it. Yes, I'm conflicted. Walking on eggshells like if I take it too far, is this it? Part of me gets it and wants to say I'm sorry and fix it. So all my statements are basically contradictory. Like using the F word for gay is wrong and offensive. And insensitive as if me saying the R word isn't. Wait a minute, which R word? Rape or retarded midget? With this
See, now they're fused together, all in one. They're both just saying offensive stuff that they can think of. But Slim is saying like he's constantly on eggshells wondering, is it too far now? Is the next thing that I've said too far? Is this it? And you can even hear when he says, is this it? That Marshall is rapping with him in the doubles. So they're both wondering, is this it? Is this the final straw now? And then it says, part of me gets it and wants to say sorry. And then you can hear Marshall in the background go, I'm sorry. And before he can finish the word sorry, Shady just keeps rapping. So it's like he wants to apologize, but fuck it. Then goes on to talk about some of the controversial stuff that he has done. Like when he used to say the F word for gay, but then apologized for it and said he wouldn't do it again, but still says the R word as in retarded, and people act like that's not as offensive as the F word. Everything's just one big contradiction in the world, and he's fucking fed up with it. And you can hear that because he just goes on to say which R word, rape or retarded. I'm just gonna say him, fuck it, don't care. Oh, and then also tosses in the word midget at the end of that too, just tossing in the buzzwords again. A lot of midget talk on this album. I don't know where that stemmed from. I never realized that was such a big problem with Eminem, but apparently it is.
Rape or retarded midget? Not cool. Would this rhyme be okay if South Parker did it? Okay, screw you guys. Would it make you less angry if Cartman spit it? And as far as what I just stated regarding midgets, you'll probably think I'll just say that I'm playing. I'm not, I meant it. Yeah. Swear to God, I see one of them little fuckers come at me. I'll pick it up by his legs and drop it and kick it.
Just this weird asphyxiation with midgets on this. But he's pointing out the parallel, like, you guys would probably be okay if South Park said all this shit. They're a parody show and they've been known to do all this stuff. And then does the voice of Cartman in the background. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Rate my Cartman impression on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments, please. I've worked on it a long time. But this is him saying, like, you don't really have a problem with what's being said. You have a problem with who is saying it. You have a problem with me, not the actual topic. And then the dissing of little people, midgets. Again, if I see a midget run at me, I'm gonna pick it up and kick it. it. Just hammering down on the offensive stuff.
Yeah. Swear to God, I see one of them little fuckers come at me. I'll pick it up by his legs and drop it and kick it. Marshall, your wicked face that you are addicted, but they gon' do me the same as the baby with all of this shit. Chappelle and Colin, they're calling shady, misogynistic, while raising 3 daughters. 2 graduated from college with honors, summa cum laude. My sense of humor is probably twisted, it's painfully obvious.
You got an addiction, man.
Finishing the verse off with Slim himself saying, it's painfully obvious, isn't it, that you, and then goes into the chorus saying, have an addiction. But that last part right there started off with him saying, Marshall, face it, you're addicted, and you can hear Marshall in the background with the ad-lib again say, I know. At this point, he has fully admitted to that he has this addiction of Slim Shady and the buzz that he gets for rapping like Slim Shady and doing the stuff that he does. And saying because of that, they're gonna do him like The Baby or Dave Chappelle or Colin Kaepernick. The Baby had the situation with the AIDS and the homophobia stuff. Dave Chappelle had the stuff with the transgender folks. Colin Kaepernick had his whole spiel with racism and police brutality and all that jazz. So he's basically saying he's about to be like all of them with all this shit that he's saying. But finishes his verse off by saying, you want to call me misogynistic, but I raised 2 daughters that graduated summa cum laude with honors in college. Sure, my sense of humor's twisted, but I've done something right raising my daughters. Go back into this chorus to finish off his great song right here.
You got an addiction, man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Goddamn, I miss you, Slim. Hey, you got an addiction, man. I know you can't get rid of me forever, cause you know that I'm prescription, man. Next time I'll be in your veins.
I'm just playing, little people. You know I love you.
All right, and there's the end of the song right there, with Marshall's voice saying the classic Slim Shady line, I'm just playing such and such, you know I love you. So many different parallels to tie in this, man. But at this point, the drugs completely took over. Marshall is now Slim Shady. They are intertwined together, and it's a beautiful mesh, I must say. But okay, that is the end of this song right here. Thank you for sticking around and watching this one. Tomorrow, I will be back breaking down Brand New Dance. I was going to try to do that today, but with all the mishaps that I've had, I don't have time to make another video. And subscribe and stick around. We got plenty of videos to come. And last but not least, go watch the video where I talked about the album in reverse. Crazy theory, but I literally think I might like the album better that way. It's getting my head all jacked up breaking down these songs. But okay, love you guys. This is my song, If My Heart Had Wings, if you want to check out my music. Have a great day, guys. Peace out. Seems like every now and then I try to pick myself up from these lows. How can I expect to do that? I don't even feel like picking up my phone. I'm stuck somewhere between one and someone there all the time. But sometimes I don't have enough energy to even stay on the line. Cause I've been down